So good morning my dear students, and welcome to the online class of maths of class 9. Today we are going to discuss our new chapter, that is Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. So let's begin. As you can see, and we have to study about the Euclidean geometry in this chapter basically. So let's start discussing from the very beginning. So I'm starting with the word geometry. Geometry is made of two words, that is two Greek words you can say. The geo and metrine. Geo means earth and the metrine means to measure. Okay, now let's read it out. The word geometry comes from the Greek words geo, meaning the earth, and metri, meaning to measure. I hope so this thing must be clear to you. Well, okay, now the branch of mathematics appeared to have originated from the need for measuring land. It was studied in various forms in every ancient civilizations, be it in Egypt, Babylonia, China, India, Greece, the Incas, etc. So I tried to write each and all things in a point wise. So I written many of the points. So I try to just make it clear more and more to you people about these points. So as you can see, I had written that this branch of mathematics appear to have been originated from the need for measuring land. It was studied in various forms in every ancient civilizations, be it in Egypt, Babylonia, China, India, Greece, Incas, etc. Means almost all the ancient civilizations have studied about it. But Greece and Greeks are the one who had accumulated and all the things in writing work. So let's move on now. A Greek mathematician Thales is credited with giving the first known proof. This proof was a statement that a circle is bisected by its diameter. So now the Thales is the first Greek mathematician who had given the base of the geometry, the base for this proving and all in the geometry, that to prove this, prove that. So Mr. Thales had has given the first proof, and that is about that yes, a diameter can bisect a circle. So for this statement he had given this proof. We're not about to discuss that proof over here. Right now we are reading the facts. So Euclid's a teacher of mathematics at Alexandria in Egypt. Now let's talk about Euclid's. Collected all the known work and arranged it in his famous treatise called Elements. He divided the elements into 13 chapters each called a book. So Mr. Euclid had accumulated all the works of the ancient civilization mathematicians and accumulated in his famous, you can say, the collection of books that is called treatise, and it has divided into 13 parts, and each part is called an element, and each part is a book. These books influenced the whole world's understanding of geometry for generations to come. In this chapter we shall discuss the Euclid's approach to geometry. Let's move on now. Now let us discuss more and more. This is just an introduction. I'm just discussing with you people. Okay, let us try to understand an abstract geometrical notion of a solid object from the ancient mathematician's viewpoint. Okay, now we'll discuss something about a solid object, that what ancient civilizations mathematicians thought about it. So from their point of view, so I had written it. A solid has shape, size, position, and can be moved from one place to another. Its boundaries are called surfaces. That is surfaces, separate one part of the space from another and are said to have no thickness. These are very brilliant points, and are said to have no thickness. The boundaries of the surfaces are curves or straight lines. These lines end in points. Considering the 3 steps from solids to points. Okay, now it means we had discussed about solid, that solid has boundary, and the boundaries, solid boundaries are called surfaces, and the surfaces are also having boundaries are called lines, and the lines are having points. So it means in one step, each step we are reducing one dimension. It is talking about that only, okay, extension or dimension you can say. Consider the 3 steps from solids to points. Solids, then surfaces, surfaces, then lines, then points. In each step we lose one extension, also called a dimension. So a solid has 3 dimensions, a surface has 2 dimensions, a line has 1, and a point has none. Okay, and a point has, just a second, okay, and a point has none. So a point has according to the ancient mathematicians, we point that a point is a dimensionless quantity. Okay, now let's move on. So in simple words, we can define dimensions. Dimension, the property or characteristic of any object by which one can get an idea about its shape and size. A very simple, precise definition you can say, talking about, like, the dimension is having a huge scale to understand and huge things, but here we are just discussing about the simple facts. Okay, so the dimensions are the properties or characteristic of any object by which one can get an idea about its shape and size. Okay, I had written some more things, like this is from the definition part. You can say a measurable extent of particular kind, such as length, breadth, or depth or height. So this is all about dimensions, of small discussions. We are basically this is the introduction video, you can say. So we're just discussing the facts. Okay, now let's discuss some more thing I have written for you people. Now let us discuss the Euclid's axiom and postulates. He actually assumes, okay, now just we had move on to for the discussion of axioms and postulates of Euclid's, which is thought by Mr. Euclid. Actually, Euclid had given lots of its definition, but what happened that in each definition, whatever things we're using, that also needs a definition. Means that first need to be defined, and for that also whatever things we are going to use, so that also need to be defined. So this starts creating a chaos, a complexity. So that's why Euclid thought that we should first of all talk about axioms and postulates. So that's why he started talking about the axioms and postulates. Okay, so let's talk about also. We also talk about that and try to understand about the axioms and postulates. The very first thing of Euclid's geometry. He actually assumed certain properties which are not to be proved. These assumptions are actually obvious universal truths. So you can see that both are the obvious universal facts or truths. The axioms and postulates, both does not needs any proof. So you will ask definitely, so what is the difference between them? Then what? So the difference is that the axioms are going to be used for the whole mathematics. Like in mathematics we can use it anywhere. It's not like it is going to be specific to the geometry also only. No, these are the common sense things, just common notions that we can use anywhere. But the postulates, regarding the postulates, we are not going to use it in the whole mathematics. It is just specific to geometry. Okay, that only I have written. So Euclid's divided these properties into 2 types: axioms and postulates. Okay, axioms are the common notions or statements that can be used throughout the mathematics and are not specific to geometry only. See, straightforward I have written over here. Whereas postulates are the statements, assumptions were specific to geometry only and cannot be used throughout the mathematics. And we cannot use it throughout the mathematics. It means use of postulates are confined to geometry only. Both axioms and postulates does not need any proof. At last I had written this thing also. Okay, now in the next videos and coming videos we are going to discuss more and more about the Euclid's 7 Euclid's axioms and 5 Euclid's postulates in this chapter, and then we'll discuss the problems also. So we'll discuss in the coming videos that. For today this much is enough. Again I'm just revising for you people the axioms and postulates. Axioms are the universal truth, postulates are also the universal truth, but axioms are not confined within the particular chapters of the mathematics or particular topics of the mathematics, but it can be used throughout the mathematics or out of the mathematics also. But the postulates are confined. Postulates are also the universal truth or fact, you can say. It also does not need any proof, but these are confined within the particular topic or chapter of the mathematics. That is, we are having Euclid's postulates that is confined within the geometry only, the part of the mathematics, the branch of the mathematics that is geometry. So we are going to use Euclid's postulates within the branch of mathematics that is geometry only. But this is not the case with the axioms. So I hope so that the difference between axioms and postulates must be clear to everyone. Okay, now let's end our session. Thank you. We are going to discuss the more and more things in the coming videos. So we'll meet again in the next class. Thank you everyone.